for years, the city of Oxnard, kids would be like, and there was nobody from the school that made it. But now we're sending guys out D1, D2, whatever, like every year. So like they know that if they do what they're supposed to do in a classroom and they do what they're supposed to do on the field, I can make it too, because look at all these guys that have made it,
They still trust in us, like, because we've sent players off, and our players not only have gotten to college but made plays when they got there. So we have like that trust factor with the college coaches, and we have like that reputation of having the talent.
All right, guys, welcome back to The Young Athletic. How you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us back.
I'm doing good as well. I appreciate you for having us back for the second time.
Of course. I'm with Coach Mike Moon and Coach Marcus Alford of Pacifica. Just want to go over their resume. They're two-time sectional champion, two-time Southern California champion, and one state champion. Also a player in the NFL for Kansas City Chiefs, right?
No.
Oh, who is it?
Nohl.
Nohl?
Yeah, that's the man right there for sure.
So tell me, what does it take to be a successful program like you guys?
Oh, shoot, where do we start? It takes a lot. I mean, it kind of depends, right? I think depending what school you're at and what district you're in and what type of school you're in, we'll take different kind of, I would say, criteria to be successful on the football field. But really the basis of it, if you want to just say like totally, is you need total support, right? You need support from administration, you need support from teachers, you need support from counselors, you need support from the other coaches, you need support from the players, the families, and everybody's got to be bought into the ultimate goal, which is not only to have the kids successful on the field, but successful off the field. But if one of those groups is not fully bought in, it's going to make it more difficult to be successful. So.
Would you say the same thing?
Yeah, for sure. It takes total support from everyone. I would say it takes not being complacent, so continuing to always wanting to be innovative, continuing to always strive to improve in all areas, not getting comfortable. I think that's like what's helped us stay consistent and continue to stay hungry. Like we won a championship this past year, and I feel like our kids got hungrier this offseason. Like you would expect maybe they might slack off a little bit, be content with what they got, but I feel like they worked even harder this offseason.
So really did, yeah.
So what is that from? What does that come from? Is that you guys or the players motivating themselves?
I think it's twofold. I think, Oxnard is an amazing community. It's just full of like just tough, resilient, hardworking people,
Yeah.
And so these kids grow up in that community and are raised that way. And then, us as a coaching staff, a lot of us are raised the same way, if you will, and kind of we feed off of that and kind of build on that and coach them the way that they've been raised, if you will, kind of hold them accountable in a tough way and show them tough love and kind of feed into the fact that they are a tough group of kids from a tougher community, and then we'll own it. And some people want to be like, oh no, we're not that. Yeah, we are, and we take pride in it. The kids take pride in it, and I think that's part of it and part of the success that we've had.
Is it almost a little easier because the parents and the families do have that background?
I think the game of football and the way we coach and the way we're able to coach, I think I talked to a lot of coaches from all over, right? And it depends on what community that you're coaching in. And the game of football is a physical, violent, tough game. So if you're in a community that kind of shies away from that physicality or violence of our society, and I'm not talking about like illegal and negative things, but if that's a bad word, if violence is a bad word in your community, then football is going to be tougher to coach in that community. Other sports maybe not so much, but football, we definitely have an advantage of being from a tougher community.
Yeah. So what makes you guys stay at the top? I mean, you guys have been consistent and successful. How do you guys stay there?
I don't know if we're at the top, but I could say that we've been consistently one of the better teams, I would say, in recent years. The last 5 years, I guess you should say that. But I think it's everything we just mentioned, right? It's those components of our community. It's how we coach them, and then what Marcus said, and Marcus is a big key to that, right? And he's that young, energetic coach, and making sure not just the kids, but the coaches don't get complacent, And so it's just we're a very competitive group, right? Competitive,
super competitive. Yeah.
Our coaching staff, the kids, our community is a competitive community. So I think that's one of the things that we feed off is like, okay, great, we did that but let's challenge to do even better, and do more. And we get on each other in a competitive way, and why not challenge each other to be better coaches and challenge the kids to be better football players, and I think that's kind of bred less complacency and more just will and drive to be better. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just super competitive. Like that's our culture. Like you said, the coaching staff. We might be having a scrimmage in the summertime, off season. We might be going at it, coaching staff, like just.
The coaches playing.
Yeah, just kids playing together, just scheming and
just talking,
play, stuff like that. The kids are super competitive. Like I feel like the culture now at our school is like a lot of kids at our school want to be the man. Like they want to be that person, right? And so you kind of have to be like at our school. If you don't have that mentality, kind of like it's probably gonna be hard for you to get on the field because we have a lot of talent as well, right? And kids that are dogs, kids that are super highly competitive, and so. I feel like they bring that out of each other. And so with them all wanting to raise their level of play to like outshine the others, I guess, it kind of raises our entire team's play. And we continue to strive for bigger goals each year. Like we won the championship last year in D4. We want to win it this year in D3. We want to keep improving. And so we always have goals that we want to meet. And so we don't really get comfortable.
Absolutely.
You think that players on your team and maybe like the players on the other team look at you and say, I want to be a part of that program because you are.
You mean other teams?
Yeah.
I'd like to say hopefully not. Like if you made a decision to go play in a different program, you should be all in on your program. You shouldn't be looking at somebody else's program. I believe we talked about this last time. Like in 2025, you have the ability to go anywhere you want to, right? And everything's on social media, and you can look up anything about any coach and any program, right? So parents do their homework. It's very important where you go to high school. If you make a decision to go somewhere, you should be all in. You shouldn't go somewhere and then look over your shoulder and be like, oh, well, that place is better, or look what they're doing. Like you made a decision, you should be all in on it, right? And like we help a lot of kids go to college, and it's not all, sunshine and rainbow sometimes for them. And we're not like, nah, man, you made the decision to go there. So, like, you got to be all in on it. You can't be looking at, oh, I want to transfer. No. You made a decision, so you should be all in, right? And so I hope not, to be honest with you. And, yeah, people are going to look and be like, I want to win too. Like, everybody wants to win. But you made a decision to go somewhere, and they're either a winning program or you had confidence in your own ability that you were going to make them when you went there. So win.
Yeah.
Man, don't worry about what we're doing. We're not worried about what you guys are doing,
That's real. And people like from the outside looking in, they might see that we win games and the kids get to Scott College and stuff like that. It might look like glitz and glamour, all fun and games and from the outside looking in, but like it's kind of hard at our school. Like we coach the kids hard, we get on them. The kids gonna get on each other hard. So I mean, it might look like from the outside like I want to be part of that, but it's dog work. Like we require a lot. We bring a lot out of you. Get on the kids hard in the weight room, make all the kids run track pretty much, do things that you might not always want to do.
People want the results.
It sounds like nice and stuff like that, but it's tough. I know some people might think that we just have good players that just magically show up and just finish products, but it's not like that. We get on them and we bring the most out of them. So it's not for everybody. Like our school, Coach Moon tells the kids that all the time. Like when we have meetings and stuff like that, and on a game day it might be. He'll tell the kids it's ain't for everyone. We'll tell the kids that during spring ball, you know what I mean? And that's true because we require a lot. It's going to be hard days, tough culture. Practice is going to be hard. You got to compete against a ton of good players just to get on the field. So,
yeah, and I think sometimes some of those decisions are made because of an influence of maybe what a family feels like they can influence a program, right? And then, okay, I thought I was going to have this influence, and I have this influence, but now we're not having the success we should have had or I thought we would have had. But people, I think there's no doubt. Like if you come to Pacifica to play football, like everybody's treated the same, right? There's no influence of this person or that person. It's just like you got to earn it, and then not only you got to earn it, but you got to keep working to stay at the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's just say you earn it. Like let's say you're a starter on the varsity team, right? You better show up every day and work because we're looking for the number 2 guy to take your spot. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not necessarily like complacent with that guy being a starter. Because if you screw up, we're going to put the other, other guy in. And guys need to know that they have an opportunity, right? So, like, okay, I got to prove myself. Like, this is performance-based. I always tell the kids it's performance-based. Yeah. So you better come and you better perform. And it could be the random kid that you never thought would have performed well. The kid that just shows that, lives down the street and just shows up and short, maybe not the fastest, but works as hard. And then when he gets in the game, he's just balls out. It could be that guy, or it could be the highly recruited guy that's tall and fast and all that. It's like whoever performs the best is going to be the guy at that spot, and that's how you win, right?
Literally, like we have, it's called scout team. So anyone that's familiar with football practice or how practices go, like in colleges, you have like an offensive period or a defensive period, and then you have the scout team, which like gives you the look for that upcoming game for that week. And we have kids that you may never have heard of or that may have not shined yet that are working every day on scout team, earning their name, earning their stay, trying to take the spot of someone that they're going against. And we encourage it. You want to play, go on scout team, earn a spot.
Make that guy look
make
bad.
him look bad. Yeah.
How many of your kids do you think really understand that they have to work just as hard to get it or to keep it as to get it? You know, when I was playing in high school, I was a starter, and I think I might have, gotten a little complacent there, not realizing that I have to work just as hard to keep it as to get it.
In our program, I think all of them, right? Because, again, you might have had great coaches, but like if you say that, then I'm going to say that your coach didn't bring the best out of you. That's the honest to God truth, right? If I was your coach and you were a starter, and then I saw you getting complacent, I would find a guy that was close to your skill level, right? And as soon as you screwed up a little bit, I would bench you, I'd put him in. Does that make sense? And then you're the star player or whatever, but now everybody sees like, wow, he just benched the star player, right? And those types of things. So hold him accountable, like all those things. So I think you have to set an example with somebody that everybody's looking at, and not just maybe the kid that doesn't always perform well, right? It's going to be the kid that we need to count on in big games, and then the good coaches are going to do that in a time that's not going to cost you a game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes you have to. Early on in my career, we lost a playoff game. I benched one of our starters for missing a couple of practices, and I benched him, and it was the first round of the playoff game, and we lost 14-13. So, but sometimes you have to like set the guidelines right at some point, and again, thank God I don't have to do things like that right now. But like I think that's coaching. I think that's part of coaching, right? Like you can't get complacent.
What does it take?
Kids are naturally going to be complacent. They're kids, right? So like it's our job to hold them accountable, right?
So what does it take to keep the ship right, to keep your integrity? I mean, to keep yourselves and your program accountable?
I think using that word, integrity, is it like no matter who you are, you have to toe the line. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, if the team rules are to show up every day, you got to show up every day. If the team rules are to show up on time every day, you got to show up on time every day. And that doesn't mean you're going to get rid of a kid if he's late, but you're going to run him. It doesn't mean that you're going to get rid of a kid if he gets in trouble, but you're going to run him and bench him. Those types of things. There's got to be accountability. And it can't just be certain kids are held accountable and certain kids aren't, right? And so I don't know who said it. Some famous coach said it, but maybe it was Nick Saban. But when your best athletes are your best, best athletes are your best men.
Yeah,
I think it's easy to have a winning environment.
Sure.
I don't know exactly what the
it
words
was something
are.
like that.
When your best athletes are the best people on your team. It's easy to build a winning culture, And it's not always like that, right? Especially in the football world. Some of your best athletes they're dogs, you know what I'm saying? On the field and off the field,
we don't really have to beg like the kids, like really to put in the work or to not get complacent, because they know that they could be replaced.
Yeah.
Like I feel like all the kids on our team know that we could win with them, or we can also win with their replacements.
I think especially now, I think the one thing that we have done, there's a lot of things that we can say that we've done in the last 10 years to like build a program, but the one thing that this year we have that we haven't had in past years is just a depth at every position, right? In 2019, we had a really good team, and we had depth, right? We probably went too deep at every position, maybe 1.5 at certain positions, But this year we really and don't get me wrong, there's different levels of performers, at first string, second string, But can you put first string, second? Can you put your third string guy in the lineup in a big game against a really good team and still perform as a team and win? And this is the first year I can honestly say
like
that.
Literally,
That
we've had moments in the season where we lost like important players for just that time being, or for that entire game, or that quarter, or whatever it might be, and guys stepped up and not only produced but like made a big impact.
Just last week, we lost our best playmaker, and his backup stepped up and balled out, last week against Oak Hill. So that just a prime example happened last Friday. So, and I think that's where we're at now, where in the past we would have had trouble competing in Division III, right? We were in Division III 2023, and we lost by a few points to Cajon. and we had injuries, and we had, there was there's some suspensions for that game. Anyway, what it boiled down to is we were a good team all year. We were 10-0, but we didn't have the depth to win that playoff game. You know what I'm saying? And so we ended up 10-1 and losing the first playoff game. So whereas this year, although we've had injuries throughout the year, we still can put an offensive, defense, special teams on the field that could compete at the Division III level. So, yeah.
So how do you get that depth? Like, people are attracted to you and the culture is already set?
It's like as we talked about earlier, our practices, kids bringing the most out of each other. So, like, we have some players playing this year that are upperclassmen that probably haven't really played much in their career, but they put in the work through competing through scout teams and stuff like that. So now they're making real impacts going against like Division I players, and it's people that you maybe wouldn't expect that from them, but I mean, that's the work they put in, and that's the culture we built.
You think about your senior year, right? If you play 4 years of football in a program that's highly competitive, right? So you have to show up to practice every day and, like, compete. Not just like, I'm going to go through the motions. I know I'm going to play receiver. I know I'm going to start in the game. I'm going to run my routes, catch my ball. But, like, I got to compete, like, every day for 4 years. I have to run track for 4 years. I have to be in the weight room 5 days a week for 4 years. Like, you're not going to be the same player if that is the standard. It's the standard to compete every day in the weight room, to compete every day on the field. You're going to be a high level performer by your senior year. And so let's just say, okay, so there's 22 positions, right? So if you go 3 deep at every position, you know what I'm saying? Like you should have, we have 155 guys in the program. We should have 66 guys.
Yeah.
Is that the right math?
Yeah.
You know, so that could compete at that level, and that's how is. And then the other thing too is, right, everybody has to know that, okay, if I work and I perform, I'm gonna get an opportunity, right? You can't say, like, I'll continue to work and perform, but we're still gonna ride these guys out. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody's got to see that. Now, some guys might get a couple opportunities, right? And some guys are 6'3" and run a 10-800 meter, or they're going to have 100 opportunities, right? So, in our world, the taller you are, the faster you are, the more chances you're going to get, right? Because if we can get the tallest, fastest kid to perform, he's going to be this elite player. If you're a shorter, slower kid, you might not have as many opportunities to impress a coach. And I don't think that's just our program. I think that's any football program across the country.
Any sport, yeah.
Any sport, for sure, actually, right? The longer you are, more athletic and fast you are, if we can get you to play our game the way you should be played at a high level and compete, and all the guys do that. But so everybody's going to get opportunity. Are they going to get the same number of opportunities? Maybe not. But do I have a chance? If I come and if I compete and if I do everything right, am I going to have a chance? And if I perform with that chance, are going to be a guy. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And they have to see that too, right? They have to see coaches hold the top guys accountable. But at the same time, they need to see, I don't want to say the bottom guys, but maybe the guys that aren't at the top, make sure that if they get an opportunity to perform at a high level, they're rewarded. So you need to see all of that, That's just my take on it. So.
Where do your standards come from? Obviously, you have a very clear vision of what you want your team and your program to look like.
I don't know if I have a clear vision or we...
It changes every year.
Yeah, it changes
So
every year.
what's improved over the years? What do you think you've improved on?
So I got to be honest with you. Like, the way we do it, our coaching staff is, I want to say it's a cohesive unit, but it's not like one of those like kumbaya. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's we're a little on the rougher side, and we're very competitive, and we push each other, and we talk a lot of crap and things like that. But there's nothing where it's like, this is the way it's going to be. Like, I think this is what we need to do, and we're going to do it this way. It's kind of like, hey, man, I have some thoughts about doing some stuff. What do you guys think, right? And then, so like in this off season,
collaborate really good.
Yeah. So in this off season, I was like, okay, they're continuing to move us up and move us up and move us up, and eventually we're gonna have to play big boy football is what they call it, right? And hopefully we won't have to end up playing Division I. But anyway, so they're gonna keep moving us up. So what was the biggest difference? Well, the biggest difference is, we don't have those 6'4", 300-pound monsters that some of these other private schools and bigger schools have, right? So we got kids that, they're not small, they're about 6'1", and naturally maybe 240, 250. So what are we going to do? We got to get them in the weight room. And we've always been in the weight room, right? I'm a firm believer in the weight room. 5 hours a week, we got to get in the weight room. But is that enough? And we talked as a coaching staff, and I don't think it's enough. And so myself and my offensive coordinator, and we do the off-season weights together because we're both PE teachers and Coach Marcus. like what can we do to get better? And so, you know, we kind of, I'll just say it straight out. So when I was coming up, Oxnard used to be this run the ball, big, huge offensive lineman, like just pound the ball, just physicality, just violent offensive line. And they would beat up on us. We would start to have more skilled teams, but they would just pound the ball on us. And so I got the ability when I was doing my student teaching to be at Oxnard High School for a semester, and Coach Beckham was the head coach. Anyway, to give him some props, he had the most amazing off-season weight program, right? And I don't think he gets enough credit for that. But anyway, and so I was like one of his assistant coaches is a teacher in our school, and I picked his brain or whatever. Make a long story short, it was a Bigger, Faster, Stronger as a program, right? And so
has that been around for a while? It's
been around for a long time.
BFS?
Yeah, BFS. There you go.
I think that's what I did in high school too.
Yeah, so it's been around for a program, and so I my background is strength and conditioning and things like that before I was a teacher. So I created the first program just from my knowledge and my schooling and things like that, and it's worked. And I mean, it's really worked, and we won a lot of games and we won some championships with it. So what we did was we went to Bigger, Faster, Stronger, and then we blended it with what we do. And so we literally took the Bigger, Faster, Stronger lifts, rep count, and all those things, and we didn't change our weight training program, but we blended it. And made them record things and everything, and it was a game changer. And then we were doing heights and weights and constantly evaluating how much stronger they got and doing their maxes and then doing their weights. And we were trying to get them extra meals, which is a little bit harder sometimes in our community, to make sure that they have all the nutrients that they need.
You got to feed us.
Yeah. And so we, so again, and we're trying to do what we can to do that, and some of the kids maybe eat more than others, and trying to prepare their bodies for a tougher go in terms of who we're playing. And I think that was the biggest difference in, we played a tough schedule this year, and we played all the local private schools and stuff like that. And not that it wasn't a battle, absolutely. It was very evenly matched teams when we played St. Bonaventure and those Christians. But whereas in the past, their weight and their strength and everything would wear us down physically, that wasn't the case. Like, we're playing 4 quarters of football, and like, may the best man win at the 4th quarter, right? So again, not that we're a better team or you know what I'm saying? Like, very competitive games, but again, we would be worn down in those games in the past, and that's not the case anymore. So we might not have all those recruited 6'4" linemen and things like that, but our guys are big and they're strong and they're definitely tough,
And I feel like we continue to improve as a coaching staff too. Like, over the years, like obviously we have great players, and so we find creative ways to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. We find all different types of ways to attack the other team's strengths or weaknesses, I should say. So we game plan like crazy. We watch a lot of film. I feel like we do a great job of exploiting what the other team struggles at, or really emphasizing what we're good at and finding ways to get.
I think more of that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like we're improving in that every year, and we're always looking for new ways to improve. Defensively, we still run the same scheme, but we always have different variations or different packages we throw at people. And offensively, our offensive coordinator and our entire staff, super creative. I feel like we do a great job of scheming.
Yeah, coming up with those plays, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start. Do you have like a specific model or coach that you guys draw inspiration from?
We have like our base, like our set. Our base, like we run 3-3-5 on defense. We run a spread offense, 10 personnel. We have our base things that we do, but we just have different wrinkles that we continue to throw in it just to continue to improve. And like when teams might think they have like a beat on us, and we might do different things week by week as well, defensively and offensively. We kind of adjust to what we see on film and what we see from our – whereas I feel like a lot of times the high school football teams just do what they do, and whatever they do, that's what they're going to do. But I feel like we adjust like to what the other team does.
Like we ran a zone scheme last year defensively, and we're a man scheme team normally.
Exactly. So we just we're going to go off our personnel and what we feel like gives us the best chance to compete with the opponent that week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like some teams we've some teams we played even last year in the playoffs, they probably were even more athletic than us. We play some teams that are faster than us. People might think we're like super fastest, most athletic teams, but when you get into these high divisions and the playoff games, you're playing against good teams week in and week out. And so like you kind of have to be able to. It's like a chess match a little bit. It's like the team we just played this past week in the first round of the playoffs. Ton of athletes, probably bigger than us up front as well. So that was a matchup, and we had to come up with creative ways to attack that.
How are those adjustments made? Are they in game or are they at practice?
Yeah.
I mean, so basically, you know, the football world, you get the film Saturday morning, and then offense, defense, special teams, right? So our offensive coordinator, offensive coaches will take their defensive film and create a plan. Defensive coaches will take the offensive film, create a plan, and the special teams coaches will take the special teams and create a plan, right? And then so you implement. Okay, now here's our plan. Boom, Monday, here's the plan. You implement the plan, and then you adjust it as practice goes, right? Because you have a scout team, like Coach Marcus was talking about. So you see, are things working against the scout team, or are they not? And then you adjust throughout the week. And then there's in-game adjustments. So I think it's threefold, right? You come up with a plan, you adjust the plan, you tweak the plan during the week. And then when you see how defensively, I always say that all the work you do in the week preparation for the game gets you 2 series, right? It's going to prepare you for the first 2 series if you're facing a really good coaching staff. So you're going to throw something out for 2 series, and if they're a good coaching staff, they're going to adjust to what you're doing, right? And now you have to adjust to what they're doing, and it's just constant back and forth adjustments, right? Sometimes you don't face coaches that adjust, and hey, great, then you stick with the plan that you set all week. But I think there's adjustments throughout the week. It's not just before or after. It's it's all the way through. I think our scheme. Some people think defensively maybe we have a little more complicated scheme, but I don't. I think our schemes are simple. I think we have athletic kids, and we don't want them to think too much, and we want them to play fast, right? And then people will joke on us like, "Oh, you're a simple scheme." Like, yeah, it's not it's not a bad thing. These are 16-year-old kids. Why should it be complex? Or kids thinking, okay, where do I line up? Where do I go? Or just go. Especially if he's a really fast kid. Like, why? Anyway, so that's kind of part of it.
So it's really like preparing for a new team every week.
Every week.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes.
Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday's practice, introductory practice. Like you're introducing what they're doing, right? So preparing the kids, right? And then Tuesday is now it's that full tilt practice where now you're implementing all the game plans full tilt, like 100%, right? Wednesday is another day like that, and then Thursday you're concluding everything and wrapping it up. And then you play in the game on Friday.
Yeah. And then there's more.
And that's like
adjustments.
that anywhere.
And
like
then there's more adjustments in
high
game.
school, college, whatever. Yeah. College they have an extra day of practice. Well, not really, because
Yeah, but usually there's even more adjustments in game. Like we might come out and play a team. Usually, like if we ever have a game where we have a slow first half or we struggle a little bit, we'll make halftime adjustments or second quarter adjustments, whatever it might be, because they obviously had a different game plan than what we anticipated. So we make adjustments, and typically we have pretty strong second halves for sure. Like even last year, I think our state championship game, we came out. Some things we thought might work weren't working as well in our favor. We're down big at halftime. Made some adjustments. We battled back into the game. We had a really good second half. Game came down to the wire. And so we usually do a pretty good job adjusting.
That team is good.
Yeah, for sure. This year, 2 weeks ago, we're down big at halftime against Bishop Diego, good team in our league. And we made some adjustments at halftime, some things they were doing, some things we needed to do different, maybe some personnel we needed to move around. And we usually are able to come out second half much stronger.
How do those players respond to those adjustments? I mean, a lot of it's mental, right?
Do what you're told or get out.
Yeah, they trust us.
Yeah, do what you're told or get out.
They trust us.
They don't have a choice.
We've done this for years, so we're battle tested. We're proving the kids believe in us, so and they trust our game plan.
But do they always understand your instruction?
Oh yeah. And that's on us, right? Yeah. Like if your kids aren't understanding what they're supposed to do, then you got to own it, And it happens. Sometimes you're just like, you see something, it's like, why the hell oh shoot, man, we didn't cover that formation during the week. You can't cover like absolutely everything you try to. And then you're yelling at the kids, and then you go on the iPad and you're like, oh shoot, we didn't prepare for that. That one's on us. But 9 times out of 10 that they should be prepared. And if your coaches are teachers, right? So if you're teaching it correctly, they should understand. And if they don't understand, they should not be in the game, and then somebody else should go in. Well, if the other guy goes in and he doesn't understand either, then it's definitely coaching, right? Or teaching, right? So I think if you teach things the right way and you make sure everybody understands, and The cool part is our whole coaching staff, we're all teachers.
Yeah.
Like that's what we do for
Everybody's
them,
on campus.
So it's like, we teach all day and then we teach while we're coaching. So
And we don't ask the kids to do anything that we don't think they're capable of doing. So like, we put them in situations where we know they can succeed. Like,
and if they can, we'll put another guy in.
Exactly.
Put a different guy in to do that job, and then we got to switch up the job. Okay, take him out, put another kid in, and that gives other kids opportunities, and then we have the best guy match up for what we want on the field. Exactly. Instead of just being like, okay, you're the starter, we'll just keep you in no matter what we're trying to do. No, we'll switch you out and put somebody else that does that job better, and then when we go back to your job, we'll put you back in and those types of things.
You can sub on every play, right?
Every play.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Unless you're going Red Bull.
And we're kind of like, we feel like we're flexible and versatile with that because like we practice a ton of stuff, even going back to the off season, to where we have a ton of different plays or packages or personnel situations that we might not even always use in game times, but we're able to make adjustments on the fly if we need to. And we play a ton of kids at different positions throughout off season and practice, so where if we ever need to just make an adjustment in game, like we need you here, it's not something that's like foreign to them. Like they can do it.
You guys have like a playbook?
Not anymore.
No, you can't this day and age.
Yeah. The kids. I call it the transfer.
Yeah, that's some advice we can give to other coaches as well.
Yeah. Don't do playbooks.
Yeah, don't do playbooks because like a lot of this day and age, right? On all levels, college, pro, even little league, right? I mean, college, high school, little league. There's a ton of movement. Kids transfer a lot, right? That's just like the new era, I guess. So we've
had 24 kids transfer out in the last.
And they
3
take
years.
their playbooks with
exactly.
them.
So you don't want your playbook to just be out running around Oxnard. You know what I mean? Like,
I see.
So
you want to keep it.
You have to learn our plays at practice. Yeah.
Interesting. So what do they do if they want to study at home?
Film.
Or they can get with their boys and they can go over it.
Yeah, but film. They study film. Yeah, we teach them how to watch film, and they know how to watch film, and they go through practice, and then you can go back and watch film.
We practice enough. We practice so much even throughout the off season to where like they'll learn the playbook. You'll learn the plays.
When did this shift happen? The playbook, axing the playbook.
I think some people still have a playbook, but I think we a lot of kids from our school transfer out. And they'll take that information with them. You know what I'm saying? So we've decided not to do playbooks. We're not saying there's no playbooks, but
like when incoming freshmen will come, they'll come practice with us.
We have playbooks, but the kids aren't gonna see them.
Like incoming freshmen will come practice with us in summertime. Like, coach, can I get a playbook to study the plays? I'm like, you guys just learn that practice. Yeah. What is a playbook? We don't have that.
I think it's the Water Boy where they steal his playbook.
Stuff like that. Yeah. So we stay away from that.
Because kids are always coming and going.
Always.
Exactly, yeah. And also coaches might come and go. You might have, even though they might know our scheme, but coaches might get new opportunities, bigger role at a different school, and so you don't want just like your stuff just going from school to school. Yeah.
How long does it take to develop your own playbook?
Well, I think if you're talking about being a coordinator, right? So you're talking about being mentored by somebody, right? So you work under somebody usually, right? And then you come up with your own
version of that.
You come up with your own version of that. So you'll probably take your mentor coach. Like for myself, I took my mentor coach's playbook, and then I created my own version of it. And then I ended up coaching with another guy that was a coordinator. So I implemented some of the things into my playbook. And then when Marcus joined our staff in 2018,
we just keep adding little stuff here and there.
His, stuff to the playbook. So it's really a culmination of like 4 different coaches. Our defense playbook.
Things that work.
We have like a ton of, like you said, we have a ton of coaches or teachers on our coaching staff, and we all like pretty smart people. Like we all come with good ideas, and it's not like shut out to where like somebody might bring up an idea and everybody just shuts it down. It's not like that.
No, everybody has a say. So everybody. I think that's important because when I was a young coach, like I thought I had some good ideas, right? I mean, I wasn't always right, but I wanted to be heard. I didn't want to just like say something and then be shit on, shut down. Yeah. And so everybody has a say. So now it doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna go with it, but like maybe we are. Maybe you're gonna say something and
and it's a lot of trust. Like we have a lot of cohesiveness. Like most of our staff's been together since 7+ years, you know what I mean? Or like even the newer coaches, they probably played for Coach Boone. So like it's pretty cohesive. It's not like, and it's rare, I guess, in high schools to where you have the same staff year in and year out, but you can expect that at our school.
We had the same staff for 13 years.
Yeah.
And then Marcus came when he was done playing in Canada. and then all of our newer coaches all played for our staff or for me.
So everyone knows the system. So when we come with ideas, we come with stuff that we know can fit in what we do.
Like when we're hiring people right now, it's like we want to hire coaches that played for us.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Unless there's like a hire that you can't turn down, you know.
Are you still getting a lot of college recruits? I know the NIL has changed things.
Yeah. No, we are. I think. Well, the shift in college has actually helped us. I think because not necessarily NIL, but the transfer portal.
The
right?
transfer portal. Yeah.
So because of college coaches are focusing more on college kids and less time on high school kids, they don't have time to go to all the high schools, right? And the old saying like, oh, if you ball out, you're gonna be seen.
They'll find you.
Oh, they'll find you, right? If you
That's
ball
what
out,
they
they'll
say.
find you. That's not that couldn't be the farthest thing from the truth now. You know, it matters. You know where you play. It matters. The teams that school plays. It matters. Does the coach have connections and can make phone calls? And then if he makes the phone calls, you know, if they can only go to 10 high schools in an area, you know, or
like a couple years ago, college might come into this area and go to visit 20 different high schools. Now they might only visit like 3 or 4.
The main ones.
So it's different.
Yeah. And we saw it was a trickle down, right, from the transfer portal. So it started where, when I was a young coach, they would come to all the schools, right? Like it didn't matter where you were, right? Small division, large division, they come to all of them. And then it started cutting down to just, you know, maybe the top two-thirds, right? And then it was, and then just whittled all the way down. This off season, I think, was the one that I saw maybe the least amount of colleges around Ventura County. And you ask them, like, where are you going? And it's like, they'll tell you, you know? And it's like, obviously the schools that have the Division I players, or at least one Division I player, but it's like, dang. And then they used to be like, all right, well, I'm going to cover Ventura County, and I'm here. I'll cover Ventura County Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday, right? And now it's like, and then it was like, okay, I'll cover Ventura County Monday and Tuesday. And then it's like, all right, well, I got Ventura County the afternoon on a Monday, right? So I got to be in the San Fernando Valley Monday morning, and then I got Ventura County Monday afternoon. Well, you better be one of those schools, and then the coach better be there, and the kids better be there. And it's like, you know, because you're gonna miss that opportunity because they're flying out Monday night. You know what I'm saying? So, and spending more time, recruiting the transfer portal. So I think we've benefited of building the program up just before the transfer portal went crazy. Does it make sense?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
had we built it up a little bit later, I think we wouldn't have had the success we've had.
So they still trust in us, like, because we've sent players off, and our players not only have gotten to college but made plays when they got there. So we have like that trust factor with the college coaches, and we have like that reputation of having the talent. So we're fortunate.
And they know that our school, our counselors, they know how to get kids qualifying. That's how from right. You recruit these kids, and these great kids, right? And then they sign, and everything's good, and then they don't have the right classes to go to your school. Well, that college is not going to come back to the high school anymore, you know? So not only, our kids have that reputation, but our school has a reputation that the counselors know what they're doing, you know, and they'll make sure the kid qualifies, which is a big part of it, right? The academic part of it. And then when our kids get there, they do well academically, right? They don't get in trouble. They perform at a high level. So, like, it's you have to do all those things, right? And it's not perfect. It's not 100%. Where 100% of our kids have been perfect academically around the field. But I think if it's the vast majority of them, I think you build that reputation. So I take pride in that. And it's more than just making a phone call, right? Yeah. It's the kids have to do their part, and they've done it, and it's helped them. So every class that we've sent out to colleges has helped the next classes, you know?
Yeah. You've got a good reputation.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then, and that comes from what they do when they get to the colleges. You know, we're not an influence to them anymore. We still talk to them, but,
What is that relationship like when you see them go to college?
I got to share with you, and I'm going to touch on that, but I think it's we really do run it like a family, man. Like and I'll give you an example. So we had a kid show up to so we have alumni come back to our practice all the time, like, hey, coach, I want to let you guys know I'm having a baby. Cool. All right, coach, I got a new job. Or we just had a kid come last week, or just enlisted in the military. So, like, they're constantly coming back, and we're father figures to them and things like that. So, it's no different for the kids going to college. They're just playing football, right? They're just continuing to play the sport. That was our connection. But it's the same thing as a kid coming back and telling us that he got into med school, or We haven't had that yet, but so it's the same thing. It's like, oh man, I moved up to the second depth chart. Second string on the depth chart. Or I'm a starter now. I'm on special teams, or those types of things. And it's the same thing for us. Like, I think it's cool because not everybody can make it, to college football like that and perform and do all those things. But to me, I look at it the same way. I don't know. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we keep in contact with them, and yeah, like you said, they always come around. Even our college guys that are playing currently, like this past week, at our first round of our playoff game, we had like multiple of our college guys at the game. They were on their bye week or whatever it may be, and they were there supporting. This week, I think it'll be the same thing. Actually. So the guys always come back. Last year at our CIF championship game, we had like a ton of alumni, big time players on the sideline. So it's like a family. Yeah.
The coolest part of that, I think, is for our current players more than just us. Like we've seen it, we there. Like it's cool. Like a lot of our coaches, like Marcus, did it themselves, and then they're back. But I think the coolest part is like for years, the city of Oxnard, kids would be like, and there was nobody from the school that made it, right? So like, all right, I went there. Like, oh yeah, there was a guy back in 1979 that played division. You know what I'm saying? But now we send guys out. D1, D2, whatever, like every year. So like there's guys that they played with that are playing at college, and then there's guys that were seniors when they were freshmen, and there was guys that when they were in middle school watching them play, you know what I'm saying? So like they know that if they do what they're supposed to do in a classroom and they do what they're supposed to do on the field, I can make it too, because look at all these guys that have made it, and so I think that's the coolest part of it. It's in my, now not all of them are going to make it, right? But at least they're going to have the motivation to stay in school, get good grades, do what they're supposed to do, work hard.
They can see it.
Yeah, and then the tools that they learn by working to be a Division I athlete, whether they make it or not, they use those tools to be successful in life after that. So
yeah, the person can become in the process.
For sure. Yeah. Don't worry about the product, right?
Yeah.
Trust the process, and then the process will take you to success.
That's cool. I mean, like the former college players and pro Nohl in Kansas City, do they come back and give you ideas?
Yeah, I think it's more.
For sure. Yeah, no, like our NFL guy, Nohl, with the Chiefs, Nohl Williams, this whole summer, during his offseason, he was working out with our guys on the field. Yeah, working out with us. Yeah. Invite anyone can come. Any one of our players can come along and we'll talk to him, give him pointers. Out there competing with them. So yes.
He's such a good human being.
When did he graduate?
2020.
2020.
Yeah. There's not a more deserving person in the world, man.
For sure.
Hardworking.
Super humble.
Humble. Just a great human being.
Could you tell with your time with him that he was a special player and had potential to go pro?
Yeah. Yes, 100%. But was he the tallest, fastest? No, he wasn't. He was definitely gifted and definitely an elite player and one of our best players. And and you can go back and you say at times it was our best player at the time, and at other times you could say it was a different player. But he was all those things. But it wasn't those like, oh, I knew he was going to be a second-round draft pick. Like what I'm saying? Yeah. He worked his ass off
every year.
Like was so focused and worked his butt off, and came from a great family, and they pushed him and they supported him, and his brother played Division I, II before him, and he was a support system for him. But like the kid just did everything right, And then of course things have to align, right? You got to go to the right schools and do all the right things. And he ended up being under recruited. He ended up going to UNLV, which he ended up starting as a 17-year-old. Well, if he was over recruited, maybe he goes to a school where he doesn't get on the field.
He has to wait, exactly.
So now he's one of the highest rated corners in college football, and he goes to a higher school because of that success. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many factors that play into it. And I think he talk about somebody that just trusted the process. I think that's exactly what he did. He's like, every day I'm going to wake up, I'm going to grind harder than anybody else. I'm going to do all the things that my dad are telling me to do, my coaches are telling me to do, my mom's telling me to do.
For sure.
And then God willing, at the end of this, and that happened, so.
A real worker. Yeah. He got drafted, and the next morning was trying to be on the field, working out. Yeah, he's a special kid for sure.
How fun is it to coach players like that?
It makes life easier.
I'm about to say, it's not easy, but it's way easier. Yeah. He was an easy guy to coach. He was fun to coach, man. Coach, can I get some extra work?
Yeah, never talk back.
I mean, sometimes players say, oh, he's the coach's favorite. Like, no, coaches don't have favorites. We have players that show up on time, do the things that we ask them to do. Those are the favorite players. Those are the easy ones to coach.
Exactly.
Nohl is the prime example of what we talked about. When your best player is the best person.
Yeah, literally.
You know, like he is the prime example of that.
For sure. We have some kids like that right now. Yeah, for sure. He's a great kid.
You think any pros in the next couple years?
That's hard to predict. You can't really predict that.
Or high D1s?
Because we don't know how much kids are going to keep growing. We don't know the situation when they get to their school. If the coaches are going to stay at the school. It's a lot. But hopefully we hope so for sure.
I would like to think that in the next 10 years that we have a few guys in the NFL.
Yeah. We got kids with the potential for sure. Yeah.
So I would like to think that. Whether it's guys currently in college or guys currently on the roster, like I would like to think we should have at least a few guys.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your playoff experience. You're in the playoffs right now. You got a game tomorrow night. How's that going to go?
Hopefully exactly the way we planned. Not exactly the way we drew it up. Nah.
Who are you playing?
We played Bishop Amat. So they were, when I was playing high school football, they were a powerhouse in the 90s. I think they've won 5 championships.
Wow.
And they've...
Talk about consistent.
I think they have 12 or 13 guys that are NFL alum. No, so it's they have some football championship history at that school. They brought back one of those guys, Corey Minor. Don't know him. He was an NFL guy that came back, and he's now, trying to resurrect this prominent private school powerhouse.
He's the coach?
He's the coach, and just doing a good job, and it's one of those things where you kind of pay attention a little bit to the teams that are, creeping up on the radar in Southern California. They're the number 1 seed. I think everybody has them as the favorite. But that's cool. I think we've been in this scenario a bunch of times. And the cool part is just, and I'll let Marcus talk about it, but playoffs is fun to me, man. I see some coaches and, they talk to them before the game and they're just sweating and nervous and man, this is fun. This is what you coach for. The game's going to be close. You're going to get tested as a coach. The boys are going to get tested. You got to play the best game. Any play could be the determining factor whether you win or lose. How is that not fun? And maybe that's not fun to some people, but I love high stress environments and that's fun to me. So, it's we put the pressure on us, but let's go, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? And because it doesn't matter who you play in the playoffs. The way it ranks right now, I think there's 5 power ranking points between the number 1 seed and the 16th seed. So everybody's just all the same.
Oh, there are 16 teams.
In our division, right? Wow. And so everybody's super ranked very close, right? The way CIF does it now. And so it's going to be a hell of a game, and we don't know how it's going to go. I'd like to think it's going to go the way we planned.
Yeah, we hope so.
But who knows?
You're talking about being prepared. How much is intuition and going with your gut feeling play?
I mean, you can game plan and see some things that you think might favor you or not favor you on film and stuff like that, but you really don't know until the game starts. Yeah. Going into last week, what we thought may have not been our strengths ended up being some strengths in our last game. So it's kind of you're playing teams that you're not really familiar with. So until you're really on the field with them, I mean, you can prepare and stuff like that, but you won't really know until the game starts. Yeah,
the intuition part, I think, can't take over. So going into the week, I hate it. I think it's all numbers to me. What formations, what plays, what this is they do this on this down. It's just all strictly statistical, right? And this is what the stats say. This is what we're going to go with. Let's not think out of the box, because sometimes you'll watch the film and you have an inkling of they do this or they do that, and then you're like, okay, well that's not what the paperwork says, right? So when you break them down, the sheets don't say that. But in a game, I think you need to have a little bit of the intuition.
Yeah.
But you can't put too much of that into it. You have to be okay, they're running single high safety on this offensively, or defensively they're doing this, when we send pressure, and so it really has to be, in my opinion, and maybe some other coaches might have a difference of opinion, but it really has to be more fact based. What do you see? Now we have to adjust to what we see.
For sure.
A little less intuition. Now, do you have a feel for the game? We like to call it a feel for the game. A coordinator has a feel for the game, absolutely, right? But you can't really go on that feeling too much. It's kind of have to. Yeah,
we go with the facts for sure. Coach Moon develops, and our offensive coordinator as well, we develop super good game plans and scouting reports that we follow. But you do you feel it out a little bit as the first quarter goes. Sure. You play a new team, you might fill it out to say, okay, I think we can run with these guys, or sometimes it might be okay, these dudes are a little more aggressive than we thought in the trenches. We might need to do this, So you adjust on the fly, but as time goes on, typically, we come to a realization of like things that we can exploit and stuff like that. That's what we try to do. Yeah.
Yeah, those game time decisions or game time adjustments.
Yeah, shoot, man. Any decision you make could be good or bad.
And we've seen teams in the past, like looking back on it, we've played some teams in the past that probably would have thought that they had some strengths over us, that they didn't really need to adjust too much to what they do, and they did what they did, and our scheme eventually ended up outplaying them and won us the game.
Yeah, I think the key to in these games is just to kind of, the kids are gonna be so emotional, right? They're gonna make plays, and then you gotta like calm down, and they're gonna screw up, and then you gotta lift them up, right? You know, and you the team that can continue to fight and play 100% every play, but just keep that like even keel or even level, being level-headed throughout the game. It's key, right? Especially coaches, right? And there's gonna be moments where it's gonna be an excitable moment, right? But I think for a coach, whether it's a head coach or even like, an important coach, right? I don't say important coach. Every coach is important, but there's some coaches that the kids look to like to get a vibe or feeling or energy from, right? I'm an energy guy, but let's not get into that. But so I think they need to see like, oh man, we're losing by, like last year we were losing by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to one of the best teams in the state of California, right? And so when they look at Coach Moon, like, do we have a chance? Or is Coach Moon's head down? And you know what I'm saying? And it's difficult at times, right? It's so emotional, Yeah. But it's like, nah, we got this. Like, get in here, do what we do. Like, play the next play. We're going to be fine. And so they need to have, their confidence needs to be lifted by the coaching staff, I feel like. Yeah, and then sometimes as coaches, right? Sometimes there was a moment in the Bishop Diego game where I was about to lose my mind. Yeah. And my OC, Coach Diaz checked me. He's like, are you going to come and coach? Or are you going to, yeah, my bad. You know what I'm saying? And so as much as I like to be level-headed, there's moments where I need these guys to reel me in and vice versa. So, and then the kids need to see that hey, we got this, like there's some confidence to that, whether it works or not, right? Maybe you're losing by 4 touchdowns and there's not a chance, but they got to think that there's a chance, So.
And I think another thing that helps us, like when we get into like to these times into the playoffs, is like I feel like going into like the underdog role helps us a little bit. Like when getting like in these higher and bigger divisions, we're going against teams that may not be familiar with us, or like our area or our program's kind of new. We're kind of newer on the scene. So I think sometimes teams go into it just thinking they're going to do what they do, and they'll be fine. Sure. And then we get into games sometimes we're like, are they really going to play us like that? They're going to leave him alone with our guy? And it plays out in our favor. And so I think kind of I guess the underdog role helps us out a little bit when we get into like these high stakes and these high divisions.
Yeah, the same thing. Talk about like lifting up your players when they score a goal on us. It's the same thing. We gotta lift them up. Say, we got time to get
absolutely.
back.
It's and I think that carries over to all sports, right? Like good coaching, I think we're you can lift the kids up and they can, for sure.
Yeah, it's an art
for sure, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it, and I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. I'll be out there.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be a fun game for sure.
It's gonna be fun for sure. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be
it's
fun.
A tough game. It's gonna be down to the wire. 2 great teams. We're gonna play hard for sure, as always. So it'll be fun.
Get after it.
Well, I've been speaking with Coach Mike Moon and Coach Marcus Alford of Oxnard Pacifica. Good luck tomorrow, guys.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you having us.